we are in the EZ build that you saw earlier. This build actually only took a couple of days. We still have to put gears in it and a few other things. It's about 107 out right now, and we're running cool. We've got a Camaro SS fan with our 52mm dual pass radiator in this. Got our AC on, and the cab is cool. We used our EZ billet brackets on this build, which essentially bolt on. We used our EZ harness in this build, which basically plugs in. And we used our EZ engine mounts in this build, which bolt on with no fabrication. We started doing these LS builds over 8 years ago in JKs, and we've come a long way. Early on, the kit was difficult to install. A few years ago, we cleaned it up quite a bit. Today, we're using factory components, factory harnesses, engine mounts. We've eliminated all fabrication in the build, which means no cutting, no drilling, no welding, no grinding. We have distilled the wiring harness install to virtually plug and play. We have taken the accessory drive to the next level by offering essentially our earlier cut and bend drive, which worked well when set up properly, but could be difficult to get aligned properly for the first time. And our billet brackets are bolt-on with no alignment required. So let's talk about the three different areas of our EZ install. One, the engine mounts. Well, that's pretty simple. You don't have to cut, grind, and weld anymore. We've designed these mounts using factory GM hydraulic LS mounts to bolt right into your JK chassis. So you're going to bolt the mounts onto your engine, and you're going to drop it right into the original cradle that supported the 3.8 engine. And that's really all I can say about that. The transmission mount's the same transmission mount that we've been running for a lot of years, and there's no reason to change it because it works great. The transmission mount has about 2 inches of side to side and front to aft adjustment. The engine mounts have just over 1 inch of fore and aft adjustment, and we've set them up so that you can also adjust the height of your engine. So if you're having an interference with your axle or control arm, you can actually raise the motor up. Second part of our EZ install is the wiring, and with that wiring goes MoCan. In the last generation kit, we used a MoTech module which used mostly analog and digital bridge technology, and I still think it works excellent, and I feel very comfortable with that earlier MoTech module, so we're still supporting it, especially for non-JK builds. What MoCan does, it cleans up the wiring and eliminates most of the interior components that we used to have. So with MoCan and our EZ install harness, you're going to have only a data link connector and a accelerator pedal position sensor connector. That's the gas pedal inside your cab. No drilling holes in the firewall, no mounting components. You just simply run them through the hole in the firewall by your brake booster and plug them in. The harness we're running now is a factory GM harness right off the shelf. What that means is we're not building a custom harness. Most of you know that the heart of an engine swap is the harness. The harness is the heart and the nervous system. It's the most critical part of the swap. So by simply using GM's off-the-shelf harness the way they've designed it, with proper power distribution, ground distribution, circuit protection, low reference distribution, we're assured the same level of quality because these harnesses are tested by GM, and engineering, meaning these harnesses do not have reduced circuit count, they're not missing critical protection, they have proper power and ground distribution for failure modes to keep you running even if there is a failure. So essentially what we've done is we've integrated what GM has engineered right into our swap. We use factory calibrations in our computers. So if you have a 5.3, 6.0, 6.2, Gen 4, Gen 5, you're going to get a calibration that GM has certified with the US EPA. This is going to assure you idle quality, emissions compliance, drivability. These engines are putting out 300-400 plus horsepower stock with all the protection modes built in, hot protection, oil aeration. There's just a host of calibration details that GM has incorporated to keep their vehicles running in failure modes, limp modes. We want these engines to go hundreds of thousands of miles. So you can get more power out of it, but you might lose longevity. You can get more power out of it, but you might lose miles per gallon. So there's always a trade-off. You can never gain somewhere unless you lose somewhere else. At least it's getting to that point with these modern calibrations. In the old days, that wasn't so true. You could gain power and economy. But now with the emissions rules the way they are and the constraints that we have to work within, these tunes are pretty much maxed out when you get them. If you want to go further, you can, but at least you know you're starting off with a factory calibration. There is nothing hacked, there is nothing patched. We're not trying to run an engine that is a 6-liter off of a 5.3 operating system. We're running the proper tuned GM designed for your engine. And that also includes the transmission. The transmission is an important part of the engine performance system. In states like California, it's actually part of the emission system, and you've got to prove that that transmission and its calibration are compliant. Along with this factory harness goes MoCan, and essentially MoCan is our MoTech module using CAN interface technology. Easy mounts, easy hardware. We've been doing these LSJK swaps for a lot of years, and we've got very familiar with the hardware. We know the difference between the Pentstars and the early JKs, the Gen 4s, the Gen 5s, and we're sorting all that out for our easy installation. Not having to pull the body, essentially bolting the engine mounts onto the engine, then dropping them into the 3.8 or 3.6 cradle makes the installation go much, much faster, and you can do the swap with the body on. We're going to hopefully get some videos up here soon showing that. Our new exhaust system is also going to be more friendly. We're making all the welds required so that you can bolt the exhaust system in. We're welding the flanges on for you. We're leaving slip joints that you can use band clamps on. Everything about this Easy Kit is going to be geared around making the installation as easy as possible and as foolproof as possible. Our goal is to make this swap easier than any other V8 swap. That includes a Hemi. That includes other LSs. I'll be taking this Jeep out to the mountain, and I must say this Jeep was done with our easy install, and there is no compromise. I notice no difference driving this Jeep than with our full Gen 4 kit. Cruise control, tap shift, engine smoothness, there's zero vibrations in the floorboard, steering wheel, drives just like one of our earlier swaps. It was done in far less time using our easy technology. So we're finishing our test drive with this easy install on this black Rubicon. It's a warm day, got our AC on, and we're staying cool inside. I can tell you that we've had no issues with this build. I don't notice any difference between this easy install and our earlier builds as far as smoothness or any functionalities. It's just as good. So what this easy install is going to do is open up this conversion to a wider market for guys and girls that may not have or want to source out welding or equipment like a lift to pull the body off. These easy mounts are very smooth. I've had zero issues with them. No vibrations, no clanking, no clunking. Engine seems to be staying right where it belongs. These collegiate roads really shake up these JKs, and that's exactly what I want them to do. If there's any issues, we want to identify them. It's funny, just a few months ago I was driving down this road with snow on it. Now it's over 100 degrees out. We're going to be doing a couple of more easy installs for you guys. We're going to try to get some video down on it. I think I've got a 5.3 manual to auto swap that we're going to be doing our easy conversion on. That'll probably be happening next week.